ladies, for all of your donations.
I'm always happy to give. As a group of women who do well for ourselves, it's always good to band together, give. I came in with 1,000.
And that's the biggest part for me is if you have the ability to give and do big, this is when you do your big one. We can't pull up in Birkins, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, and then not really give when it counts.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Everybody, just calm down.
Girl, just calm down.
Very curious.
Right. Girl. So happy Monday.
So happy Monday.
Girl, it's a mess. It's a big house, they keep saying. It's a really big house.
Beautiful gowns.
Beautiful gown. How was your weekend?
It was interesting. It was exciting. I told you it was my husband's birthday, Gemini season.
Hey,
Um,
happy birthday, happy birthday.
yeah, so Big Papa. That was really exciting. Honestly, it's never a dull moment during Gemini season, so nothing ceases to amaze me.
LOL.
Um, yeah, I think all is well. I mean, I'm still here.
I'm still standing. I'm still here.
Still I rise.
My weekend was, I feel like every weekend that I have that I come on here on Monday, I'm always like, my weekend was pretty chill. And then like eventually I'm like, does he do anything?
Do you go outside?
Do you go outside? But no. My weekend was pretty chill. I enjoyed myself. Just knocked out a lot of stuff. Shot a lot of content, a little yang here and there. Nothing
Okay.
major. But yeah, so we are here to discuss Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 episode
15?
15? Is it 15? No, it can't be. Is it?
Am I dragging it?
No, because I think you might. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm
if you're right.
shocked.
I'll be shocked. Where are we at? Season 16. Is it episode 14? Oh, it's
Yeah.
episode 14. Yeah, episode 14.
Okay.
Season 16, episode 14. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so the show opens up with an opening montage, and basically everyone is recapping the night before. It seems like the girls had a lot of fun after the cameras went down, or at least the stuff that we didn't get to see. So I ain't gonna lie, and which was very hypocritical for me. Me clocking how loud Cynthia and Kelly were first thing in the morning. I was like, nah, that's ridiculous.
Very excited.
Very excited. I know I'm very loud, but Jesus Christ. I think Kelly got me beat.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in the room with the two of y'all talking. That's for damn sure. And especially 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Oh my God.
That would be crazy. But Brit is on the phone with her husband and lying about some diamonds that she don't got.
Lying.
Apparently Brit got really sick, drank a little too much, was throwing up on the side of the road.
That was so weird. And we now know, fast forward, that the girl just can't hold her alcohol, which honestly is not shocking.
It's not shocking to me at all that she can't.
That's not shocking. She looks like one of those girls who has 2 to 3 shots and all hell can break loose. Yeah.
Right. And then we saw a flashback to the night before of Drew and Portia surprisingly getting along.
That was cute.
It was cute. And then we see like a quick little conversation with Shamea and Kelly. This is like the first part of the episode where my first strike with Shamea. I had a lot of strikes with Shamea this episode. And it was her saying, if you can't renew here, then girl, it's you. First of all, not the girl that can't let go of the fact that Drew calls you a lapdog.
She's still saying it in this episode too.
So what do you mean if you can't renew, then you the problem? Well, then I hope you know you are the problem, ma'am.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, that is crazy to me that she said that.
I will say this about Shamea. Honestly, ever since she lost that luggage, she's looked so much better borrowing Portia's clothes.
Girl. Well, no, she's not borrowing Portia's clothes. She said she had about 4 outfits in her carry-on.
Okay, well, whatever these spare looks are, we love them.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming, honey.
Girl.
Angela calls Charles. Of course, he not answering. But in the
He said, of
confessional,
course, that he's not answering.
but but of
Oh my
course,
God.
but of course, in the confessional, she says they are falling in love every single day,
You
and I believe it.
You want to know what really gagged me about that? And see, again, the girls say that I'm misogynistic. They say I hate I hate everybody. It's not true. I actually I love love, and I love black love specifically. But what I will say is that right there, she like that was not believable to just say we're falling in love. Like I just felt like she knows we're seeing Charles in probably not the best light,
Mm-hmm.
and is like, listen, y'all, he really isn't that bad. So I want y'all to know, like, we really are falling in love each and every day. But then as the episode goes on, it looks really bad from what she was saying. I mean, it was pretty bad.
Listen,
And again, call me crazy. Go ahead.
you just want to say, sure, Jan. So then we move on to the morning breakfast chaos of it
Girl.
all.
Yeah.
And Kelly strolls in with her nipples out.
Always.
I
She
can't.
she gotta contain Sue and True.
Something, child. But the way they drag Kelly for being so loud, what if they just say she was like a garden gnome mixed with Tika Bell?
Now, the way they've been dragging her about being a garden gnome to begin with is nasty. Let's just say that.
But the thing that kind of took me out was when she was in her confessional, she was trying to whisper. I felt so seen because I know how that feels. I feel so constrained when some that's actually like a pet peeve of mine. Like it doesn't bother me. Like I feel like the way when y'all say I talk loud, it doesn't bother me because it doesn't really matter in this grand scheme of things. No, not saying that y'all opinion doesn't matter, but I mean like it don't really.
It's not
funny.
really hitting
like,
her. It's not. Yeah, it's not
like
coming
y'all
in a malicious intent.
exactly.
Right.
But I have
Okay.
been around people to be like, "Why are you yelling?" Like da 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 da. I'm like, "This is just the way I talk." And it was like, and then it's almost like you are trying to shut me up in a way, and I don't like it.
Right.
So when she did that, look, was it? It's okay if I whisper. I was like, I know that's right, Kelly. That's how you
That's
get the
fair.
girls.
I mean, considering both of us are big mouths, that was probably a trigger for both of us because also, so what?
Exactly. What you gonna do
And
about it? Then Cynthia jumps in and says, "It's not the volume. Just don't talk over people." And that's when Brit jumps in and says, "Well, I had a crystal and nobody was listening to me." And Shamea responds by saying, "You switched the topic away from what we were discussing." And Brit says, "You don't tell me what to talk about." Shamea says, "You basically diverted the conversation from what we were talking about to Apollo when we wanted to know about Drew and Black." And it's like, Shamea, can you please stop riding Drew's peen, my guy? Like, oh my God. Like, what's happened? Like, Drew is wow.
I don't
Drew
know
said girl.
why they're
Drew said
so
girl.
bothered. I've been trying to, this entire episode, I was trying to pick apart why Shamea was coming for Drew and why it was so negative. Like, I mean, I get the situation. I thought we were over it. I thought we were past it. I thought we did not care about that comment, quote unquote, lapdog. I thought we were done with it. But
Right.
it just keeps living.
You just said if you can't renew, then the problem is you. And then here you come with trying to shade Brit. You're upset with Brit is because Brit diverted the conversation away from Drew, and you really wanted to dig into Drew.
You really wanted to eat Drew up, which is wild.
And that's why you're mad at Brit. Like you that upset about wanting to eat Drew
which
up?
is wild.
Like,
Which is
girl.
wild. Because Brit's situation, nobody paid Brit not one attention. She was trying to get the ladies' attention that entire trip. They paid her like a bad check.
Right. And then what gagged me was Drew said in confessional, which I agree with. Everybody worried about me, what Drew doing. We need to be figuring out what's going on with Shamea and Brit right here.
Well, because, and that's the real, and I have been trying to figure that out the whole time. I'm like, well, why do they keep pointing it at Drew? Drew ain't got nothing to do with this. Why are you so no, are you bothered that she only wrote the $250 or are you bad for the 3 paper towels or both?
So I will have to say this, and this is why I always say I feel like us as a podcast, we are very fair. Like we're very fair when it comes to everyone. Of course, we have our faves. We have the people that we like, but even if our fave is doing something wrong, we gonna call them out.
Yeah.
And even if the person we can't stand is
It's
being
doing
wronged,
the right thing, or
yeah, we gonna big them up. And I'm sorry, Brit was not at fault this whole episode. I was gagged. And you're gonna. We could get when we get there, we can discuss it. But in my opinion, I was just like, "What is happening, Shamea? Do you know how bad of a performance you have to give when I am on Brit's side the whole time?"
Even down to the monetary of it all.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Because we gonna see. So then the ladies basically split up. In the car, Shamea tells Portia that Brit is being snippy with her, which is so gaggy because I don't understand why you're saying Brit is being snippy with you when it's really you, my guy.
She was picky.
Say it again.
Shamea picked.
She did pick with her.
Picky. Yeah, she was picking a little bit.
But then she gets in the car and makes it seem like Brit is being snappy with her, and that's not the case.
Well, you started it
exactly. But then when they gave the whole thing about the liquor, and it was like, hold on now, like when they did that flashback, I didn't see Brit really giving too much smoke. And the gaggiest thing about this is, and it is just coming to me now, I think Shamea feels like when it comes to Brit that she can sun Brit.
Yeah, no. Oh, she was doing it the whole episode. No. 100%.
But no, but even before we get to because I'm only speaking about where we are now. I'm not talking about
the
the
way
beginning
because
we know from the full episode she was definitely sunning her.
Right.
But I'm saying for right here, I think this is the first part where I realized like she's sunning this girl because even that little interaction they had,
the way she was talking to her like a little like baby girl.
Yes, like I was like, okay. Now at this time, I didn't really have that much of an issue with it because it's Brit,
right? And she's looking at Brit like tink.
Exactly. But as the episode goes on, it gets
worse.
It gets worse. And so
she was doing that lady in actually.
Right. And then Portia basically agrees that she does feel that girl has been a little snippy with her and whatever. And so then they start talking about the donation of it all. And Shamea says you can't pull up in a Rolls Royce and a Birkin with nothing to give. And it turns out outside of the box, she donated $250. And Phaedra says nothing under $1,000 should be given at their status. And I've always known that the rule of thumb of when you are donating anything, it's always supposed to be like the bonus, excuse me, not the bonus, but the budget, you know, the 50-30-20 rule, 50% for bills, 30% for wants, 20% for savings.
Right.
You are supposed to donate 5% of your want, 5% of your want budget monthly. That's essentially what it would be. Okay. So whatever the money that you spend your clothes and go out to eat,
right,
5% of that money is what you're supposed to get.
Right.
That's the rule of thumb. But turns out she only sent $250. Portia, but then they jump over to Drew, the Drew of it all. Again, Drew's just that girl. Portia tells Shamea that Drew owes her an apology for the lapdog comment.
Yet again.
But this is Portia bringing it up though.
Right.
And Portia said something really interesting that kind of was like, that was interesting. Portia says she feels like when Drew made that comment that she was basically saying that Shamea is under Portia when you make that comment. But this is the gaggiest part for me. If your shade is gonna be shade, like make it
valid. We'll make it worthwhile, right?
Yeah, like don't make it seem like don't shade me and make it a lie or make it like not make sense. So for instance, when Shamea says every time I mention Drew's name, everybody's like, who? Shamea.
Yeah. Shamea. That was again, that was the we were talking about before. Just because you're beefing with a person, listen,
Don't take their accolades away.
you can beef with somebody all you want. Well, being a hater is something completely different. You can't you can't hate on somebody. That's what the girls don't understand. You can say whatever you want about me, but like you said, you cannot take the accolades away. What do you mean nobody knows me?
Drew was
What?
in Step Up. Drew was on the game.
The girl has a resume.
The girl has a real resume. Drew is literally a triple threat.
Yeah.
Shamea, I don't know about your acting.
We haven't seen her in anything. The girls listen, they said only the girls in Atlanta know you, Shamea. I'm telling you. You ate me up, Aaron. You said no, Shamea's that. I said, listen, nobody
in Atlanta.
And I'm nobody in the tri-state. We don't. I promise.
Listen, I just, for the life of me, I was just.
And I'm not taking away her, and I'm not taking away anything that Shamea has, because Shamea actually is that girl as well. But this is the thing.
I don't think that you're knocking her when you say
I'm
that.
not knocking her when I say that.
But because at the end of the day, what we just did was big up Drew. Well, not even big up Drew. We just said what her resume was. Like,
Shamea was completely dimming her light, saying that she was nobody, and that's not true.
She's not. Like, out of everybody, again, this is something that always bothers me, and this is kind of what I think you were kind of alluding to when I had to clock you about your little comment that you made towards me about Shawnee on the on the Basketball Wives review.
And
I think the thing that you pick up on with me is that I do put the girls that were famous and had a career prior to Housewives on not a higher pedestal, but a different pedestal. It's different. I'm sorry, even though we know Nene was that girl, Nene was Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Cynthia was on Vogue, my guy. Like, Cynthia, was walking runways and on magazine covers.
The career was there.
Yeah, well before Housewives. She didn't need Housewives to make her. Same with Candy. Same with Drew. They
were all pretty established.
They didn't need the show to make them. Like, put some respect on their name. Kenya, put some respect on their name in that way. And so I didn't like when Shamea did that.
No, I didn't like when Shamea did that. But we just talked about that in the other episode as well. When you're trying to when I say something and you try to take the heat and you try to defer from the whole situation. No, you can't do that. And again, that's called being a hater.
No, I
Sorry
agree.
about it.
Sorry about
Like what?
I will say what took me out was when Phaedra said that Drew looked like Betty Rubble.
And they went back and I said, who is Betty Rubble? And I said, Barney Rubble's wife, Flintstone.
Nah, it really did take me out. That had me dying.
I love Phaedra.
Now, in the other car, they asked Angela, has she spoken to Charles? And she says, no, she hasn't spoken to him for the day. And we cut to Drew's confessional and they ask her about Charles and Angela's relationship.
Now, why y'all ask me?
Right, but what I will say is, again, Drew being smart and not playing the game where everybody can get shaded. She understands where her bread is buttered and where her allyship is, and she did not give the producers any little mess. She just, she did her cute little thing and then moved right on.
Next.
Hello.
Yeah.
So now we're then going to move on to even though the scenes were going back and forth, you know how we do it. We split it up by scene. So first we're going to do Cooking with Kelly. So we get Cooking with Kelly, and Cooking with Kelly has Kelly, Drew, Brit, and Angela. And I will say those women were thirsty for those Grenadian man.
When I say them girls was in heat,
honey.
First of all, everybody had something crocheted on, child. Ain't nobody had not one real piece of clothing on. Anyway, let's just say that.
And I'm wondering, did Phaedra give Kelly those nipple covers? Because I don't remember. She said she was gonna give it to her, but I don't know if she ever gave it to him. But they weren't blurring her out anymore, so
right. So I
guess
think they were received. They were received. Yeah, they were. It was pretty interesting. I will say the part of the Cooking with Kelly that was so interesting to me was the actual sit down of the eating of the food. Why did they have a vegetarian option for that girl?
Because it's probably the first time they've ever heard that.
For the life of me, I was like, I find it very hard to believe that they traveled all the way to the country of Grenada. They sat and had a whole cooking class. I'm pretty sure they give provisions to the chef, to the show, whatever goes on. How did they skip over that lady don't eat beef or pork for the last 30 years? That was boggling my brain the
Well,
entire time they were eating.
well, the other part that boggled my brain was that Brit is 38 and she said she hasn't had beef or pork in 30 years. So essentially, she has not had beef or pork since she was 8. Okay, Brit. Sure, Jan. Sure. Again, it's the first. We all know. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to like drag the vegan girls or whatever.
No,
but we all know that those girls that have those special dietary plans, it becomes a part of their personality. Oh, don't eat that. Don't do this. There's just no way it would have never come up before then. So good night, girl. That's the first time they ever heard that. Trust
I'm
me.
serious. And it didn't, yeah, it just boggled my brain. I was like, wait a second. Yeah, it lost me there.
Crazy. But Britt says, funny enough, that she has the biggest issues. Again, are they cutting things out? What am I not seeing? But Britt says, it's been really good energy. I mean, I have the biggest issues with Drew and Angela, and everything's been great. I can totally understand Angela because Angela ate you up.
Right.
Even though it was to your doing, wanted to jump in and try to comfort Angela. But what did Drew do to you? I'm still confused on what did Drew do to Britt?
I missed that. Britt genuinely self-sabotages. So you just don't know you don't know what day she may be on.
No,
she
you're
actually makes up things in her brain, which we now know to be true. Because again, let's go back to the photo. Either the photo is you or it's not. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that you say, and then we now then hear that there have little embellishments attached to them.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And then Drew, who should be first seat, Kelly brings up, well, Drew, do you know him? And she holds up a black piece of paper. And I'm like, oh my God. And just like the eagerness to just try to get into this girl's life in that way, knowing that she's going through a divorce. But I will say, I did appreciate Drew say, of course, there's been some flirting, but we're just friends. That's all it is. Like, come on.
Kelly, you have a history of doing that when it's awkward moments. Remember the first time they sat in Shamea's great room and she said, Portia, why did you sleep with that lady's husband?
Right.
It's not warranted at the time. Like, girl, why are you saying these things? You just blurt out whatever comes to your brain.
If I can't bring up what's going on in your life to weaponize it,
right,
then you don't do my
you have a history of doing that, and I just don't know why you just blurt things out. If anything, she's the one that acts like she has Tourette's and just blurts random things out at any given time.
But you know what I'm learning? I agree. But you know what's crazy? What I'm learning about Kelly? I don't think Kelly has it in her to go back and forth. Because when she's good as a piggybacker, but I think if you came at her direct, she wouldn't be able to take it. She wouldn't be able to handle it.
That's fair.
I don't see that for her. So then we move over to the girls at the waterfall. Apparently, Phaedra doesn't like monkeys and she thinks they are racist. Okay. See, that's the type of Phaedra that I like. The quirky Phaedra, like the weird, quirky, says really odd things that make no sense.
Got to do with racism.
Hello.
How do you know?
But we're here. I will say this for a quick moment: watching Phaedra, Cynthia, Shamea, and Portia together, it did kind of give me a ode to like the old Real Housewives of Atlanta.
It was really good.
It was like a weird little flashback. But I immediately thought about, do you remember they were in another place, another Caribbean town, another Caribbean place. Was it the Jamaica trip?
When what happened? Oh, when they're at the waterfall?
When they were at the waterfall and that guy had that snake and then Portia lost it and Todd had to like carry her away.
Was that Jamaica?
No, that was Aruba. It was Aruba. Were they in Aruba?
No.
They were somewhere.
We'll have to fact check this.
Yeah, but they were somewhere.
They were somewhere in the Caribbean.
Somewhere. Yeah. But that I flash back to that.
They
But
looked so good. I will
oh, they
say too,
looked
for all of those women
phenomenal.
over 40 years old, honey, they looked fantastic. The body, and then
No, they did.
Shamea saying like, "Oh, my body is not wrapped." Like, girl, are you kidding me? You look
Right.
fabulous.
No,
Great,
she did.
great.
But after they leave the waterfall, they basically are sitting down for dinner, or well, sitting down for lunch. And Phaedra says that she feels Brit is a really sweet girl. She just doesn't understand why she brought up the stuff with Apollo. I don't think any of us understand why she did that.
She
That
doesn't
was
know why she did that
very
though.
odd. Exactly. Everyone basically feels that was weird. Portia, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was saying Brit she genuinely doesn't even know why she brought that up. Seriously, she doesn't.
Now, Portia brings up that Brit says that she doesn't feel supported, and they show a flashback of her bringing it up at her luncheon with no lunch, and how Portia basically just let her know, well, you've never invited us
Anywhere.
over or anything like that, and Brit
Mm-hmm.
responds and says the same thing. Now, I can understand where Brit's coming from, but at the same time, though, sweetie, you're coming into everyone else's world, so you have
Right,
to introduce them into your world.
right.
Like, you have to invite them over and things
Right.
like that.
They've been here. You're coming into like you said,
Right.
you're coming into their situation. Yeah, they've been here.
Exactly. And I think the only reason she says that she hasn't been invited, well, that I think that now when I reflect on the full episode, I feel like when Portia kept saying that she don't invite us over, because I think they have an idea that that's not her house, that it's rented or something like that.
Well,
Allegedly, people.
well, that too. I mean, this is the same girl who's saying she's also upset about the text message. One person said, "Who is this?"
Right. It's just,
But that's
but
fair.
what's fair?
If I'm just meeting you for the first time and you're a cast member, not my friend, and we're texting in a chain, no, announce yourself with your number.
Oh, well, girl, we haven't gotten there yet.
Ugh,
Jesus Christ.
sorry, piss me off.
But then, of course, Shamea brings up Black again. She just really wants to hammer this thing on with Drew. But I guess they tie up dinner, and then on the way back, her and Portia are having a good old time, and then good old pick me Shamea pops right back up again. Oh, I got my friend back. I got my friend back.
I don't have my luggage, but I got my best friend. Girl, shut up.
Stop. Like, it's just she not understand
Shut
how
up.
cringe that looks. Like, that's so cringe. It's so
That
cringe.
girl sat up there last episode and watched you get chewed out about being a friend and didn't say nothing, girl.
Mm,
Please.
girl, a mess. So they all get back. They all start getting ready for dinner because they have to be on time because the prime minister will be showing up. So I know, to everybody watching this review, y'all have seen me windmill for this person every single time someone says something negative. But I have to admit,
Yes.
agree, be honest, say what it is. Charles, it's your anniversary. Be nicer. Like, I can understand if it's your day to day, but when it's Christmas, her birthday, anniversary, give a little bit more of the je ne sais quoi. Give it just a little bit more. And I did try to, even within me giving this little light criticism of Charles, I still did find a way to think, well, maybe he's upset that she actually left on the anniversary. And it's like, well, you left on anniversary, so then why I gotta be on the phone with you?
And where's my rebuttal to that?
Go
And
ahead.
so this is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, to anyone who's married, understands the significance of anniversaries. That's the one time you get to, relive your day over and over again, right? This is the thing. Charles actually has the budget that he could have flown to Grenada, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though I'm filming for a show, right, during our anniversary, which is something I really I couldn't really get off from doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should have been there to surprise me. I expected Charles to be in another villa surprising her after dinner with the prime minister.
Mm.
There's
That's a
no
fair point.
way. And again, I'm saying that for a person that has Charles's budget. For a person like me, if I were in that situation and my husband could not make it there, there's no way we wouldn't still make it about us, especially if it was something work related where we knew that I had to be there. But the anniversary is something very special. And I really appreciated the women bringing the cake in because I know she really felt a certain type of way. She tried to blame it on the bedroom action. No, most people have sex with their significant other quite often.
Right.
It don't have nothing to, it didn't have nothing to do about the bedroom action. It was the fact that you weren't with your spouse on your anniversary. And that's something that's really important. And you shouldn't downplay that.
No, I agree. And so after the call, the ladies get in the kitchen, and it's Brit, Kelly, Shamea, and Cynthia. And Shamea offers Cynthia a tequila shot, and Cynthia says, "I don't ever turn down a tequila shot." She says, "No pressure, because I've heard that I've been pressuring people to drink," and just being extremely passive aggressive. Like, why are you giving that energy to Brit? And I'm not a person to defend Brit, but this is just, I don't like stuff like that because I think my ick with shows like this is like that, and I don't really see this with men. This is the one thing that I will give men over women. When women get together, now they about to call me a misogynist. It becomes a little bit of a pack mentality on these shows. Who's on the outs? We're all going to, you know, jump on this person, or we're going to have these insiders and make these people feel a certain type of way. And so when she did that, I just feel like Brit, from what we've seen, Brit has not said or done anything for Shamea to treat her this way, to be passive and to bring it up that way. And I loved how Brit copped to it immediately. She said, "Oh, it was me about that last night, but it's not that serious." And then in her confessional, Brit says that Shamea is being very passive aggressive. And I agree.
Right.
Shamea was doing the most. Like, she just, her energy, like, I knew a girl like that in my life that would move like that. And if I was a girl,
you would have socked her?
or I would have knocked your head off. I don't like that. I don't like that passive aggressive energy. I don't like that passive aggressive energy.
That's
like
fair.
That's just, I don't do well with that. Because right before passive aggressive, then we get into the gaslighting, and they are about to start really gaslighting at this table. When I tell you, I was double mad at this dinner. I was mad because I saw what was happening, but then I was also mad because you got me over here defending Brit.
Right.
And you got, actually, I'm third.
They jumped that lady though.
They did, but I'm thrice mad because you also got me defending Brit about a situation that Brit was 100% wrong in, but in the way that you handled it.
Delivered it's the way you delivered it. It was nasty.
We can't even get mad at Brit. We can't even say, yay, Brit's getting what she deserves, because it's the way you handled it. So let's get into this dinner. So then we get to dinner, and I must say, 10s across the board for everybody there. Everybody looked beautiful. My call outs, and I want you to tell me your call outs. My call outs for who looked beautiful, everyone looked beautiful, but my call outs would be Angela, Brit, Portia.
What?
Meaning, they look good. They look good.
Your favorite. Oh yeah, my favorites.
And then
definitely.
And then I loved Phaedra's color of her dress. I love anything olive. That but
it was like a highlight. Yeah, but it was like a chromed though.
Yeah, I love that.
I would have wanted that. I believe that was an Attico dress. I would have wanted that dress not in the Caribbean. That needed to be in Europe. The texture wise. That's what I meant. You know what I'm saying? Like France. You know what I mean? Anything. Honestly, Barcelona.
It's not breathable fabric.
No. So that was the only thing. The color was spot on. I think the fabric was a little off, but I thought everyone looked great. Brit looked fabulous. Phenomenal.
Brit ate the girls up.
Brit looked really great.
From how she was sitting at the table, how she held her hands. Oh my God, it was just a moment.
Looked really good.
It gave me Dorit.
Yeah, no, when Dorit wore the red to the reunion. No, it was actually really, really good. And honestly, I would say Portia was actually second for me. I was like, wow, Portia looks fabulous. Yeah,
agreed.
Angela as well too. The hair was great. I love the braids on her. Really pretty.
I wish they would have gave us more camera time on Angela's full look. We kept seeing her at a distance, but she looked really good.
Yeah, she did.
But they bring up the giving and donating, and Kelly thanks everyone for donating. And Portia says, when you live such a blessed life that we all lived, you have to pay it forward.
Yeah.
And this is when I damn near lost it. Shamea comes with a, well, yeah, you know, because you can't be pulling up in a Rolls Royce and Birkins and not really giving when it counts. Now, to be fair to Shamea, it is a couple girls at the table that have Birkins and Rolls Royces. But, of course, Brit clocked it, and also a hit dog will holler. She says, I feel like you're throwing shade. I feel like you're throwing shade at me. And I feel like you're throwing shade at me. And this is where Shamea really lost me. She starts denying it. You would know if I was throwing shade to you. I'm not throwing shade at you.
And you want to know what's so weird about that, and not to cut you off.
No,
but you know
go.
You know what? Another thing that I thought that was weird. Yes, she did that because I was confused on both parts, right? Because Rich, you know what you did. I think a woman of your caliber. I mean, let's be real. No one should count anyone's pockets.
What caliber?
If you're
That's
on
what
the
I'm saying. We don't know the caliber.
Well, that's fair. A woman who portrays themselves to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, to be this woman who's in a particular lifestyle, should not be donating the same $250 that they do spend on hair or nails, or because
nails, yeah.
It's not even hair, it's nails. For a fact, you're spending $250 on a pedicure and a mani, and you're donating that for a charity cause. No, that wasn't a good look for you. But the way that Shamea went about it is, I didn't understand why Shamea kept saying, if you thought I was throwing shade, then you're misconstrued, da da da. But this is the thing, though. In the same breath that she said that, you also said, well, we went to Houston's and talked about it. So
Clock it.
So,
okay. Clock it.
If you went to Houston's and sat down and talked about this, why are you denying that you're actually hot about the donation? I'm confused. That's why I didn't understand. Brit was wrong in what she was defending, but she wasn't wrong altogether. She just I don't know what she was doing. She just didn't eat. She didn't eat the way she needed to.
I think Brit handled it perfectly, because Brit came off looking like the victim.
Well,
the premise, and like a rightful victim, though.
Yeah,
for the first time, she
actually
fair. Looks like the rightful victim. At like the premise of the conversation, for a person like me that has really been very upset about how she showed up with this luncheon with no lunch, and then also how she donated, that was something that I really wanted her to get her lashings for. I wanted her,
of course,
to really get mocked for. And Shamea, you handle it that way, where Brit comes out looking like y'all are bullying her. You got the nerve to get into that confessional, like you said, Danielle, and say that you pull her to the side trying to be the big sister, the sister that got her back, to not bring it up on camera. And then you come back and bring it on camera, and you do it passive aggressively. Not only that,
in front of these birds.
You said it earlier with 3 other women that are currently at this table, and now you at this table now saying, if it was shade, you would know it was shade. So you're a liar too, because it is shade. She clocked it because it is shade, because you did say these things. Like there's at least 4 other people at this table right now that know who you're talking about, and you're shading her, and now you're trying to make it seem like she's crazy for thinking that.
Right.
Like,
and then
what?
And then you told us you pulled old girl to the side, girl.
Yes.
What?
Like, I was just gagged. But then Kelly jumps in and says she thinks Brit was unaware of how to give, and that if you're gonna be that girl in all sense of the word. And I couldn't agree with Kelly more. I'm gonna be real with you. I couldn't agree with Kelly more, because let me tell you, as part of the Legitimaquah community, nothing pisses me off more than a person that I see on Instagram that got labels dripped down, but God forbid if they meet an untimely ending and they family got to put up a GoFundMe. That is the most ghetto. That is what Brit did to me.
The ghetto.
You dripped in labels, but you can't pay. You ain't got no life insurance.
You're talking about a fish fry. Can you imagine?
Girl, a selling party. What? Like, what are we talking about? Girl, go on Depop and sell them labels so you can put that person in the ground. Like, what? That
Hello?
was so ghetto. So
Mhm.
ghetto.
Mhm.
So ghetto.
Mhm.
Yuck.
Mm.
So then Brit says, I asked you how much I should donate, and you said whatever I feel. And I guess we must have missed the face that Shamea made, but Brit was like, wait, what is that not what happened? And then Shamea tells Brit to calm down.
Mhm.
And I'm watching him like, Brit is literally calm. Like,
Yeah.
why are y'all telling her to calm down? Brit's not yelling. She's not yelling. She's literally having, it is almost as if, and again, when we go back to sunning somebody, it's almost like Brit is not allowed to defend herself in this moment. She's not allowed to say anything.
Yeah.
Anytime she says something in her mouth, she's being too aggressive. She's
Yeah.
doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, very confused. Like, that was very odd to me.
Yeah.
But
I just don't understand.
yeah, that me neither, child. But Brit says she's the type of person, after they, have that little back and forth or whatever, Brit says to the table that she's the type of person, if someone has an issue with her, just say it to her and she'll be able to accept it. So then she opens it up to the table. Does anybody have an issue with me? And then Portia brings up Brit saying that she doesn't feel supported. And Brit asks Portia, like, are you asking or telling? And then Portia says, well, Brit, let's speak in a friendly tone. Where was she not being friendly in that moment? Am I watching a different show?
Again, I just think they think that this girl, because she's betrayed herself as kind of like a tink tink, that they can say and do whatever they want to her.
That's what it's giving. Like, major bully vibes. Then Brit brings up the text rate that we talked about earlier. And then they're going back and forth about that. And the prime minister shows up. They was a little thirsty for the prime minister. I did not think he was that cute.
I was shocked. He didn't look good at all.
I was kind of gagged by that.
I was gagged.
Right. But
the chefs look better than he did.
No, 100%. But after the prime minister leaves, Portia says, Kelly, he's single. And then Brit says, well, I know a lot of married men that don't wear rings. I bet you do, Brit. And then Angela, again, well, Charles doesn't wear his ring. And it's like, Angela, Jesus Christ. Stop giving these girls ammo.
Please stop giving these people ammo, please. And when she said that, when I say I think I was like looking at my phone at that moment. I looked up and I said, well, why did you give them that? And as soon as I saw Portia in the confessional, like, does this girl have Tourette's? I say, you see, now you didn't open the damn door for that. Now the ladies, they've been already saying Charles been pouncing around town.
Hello? Like, why would she say that?
Why would you say that?
Yeah, that was crazy to me. And
I'm offended.
About what part?
I'm offended he ain't wearing his damn ring.
Oh, you stupid. But then I thought what was really cute was that they ended up surprising her with the cake, and she gets emotional, and because that was very kind. She wasn't expecting that. I thought it was very sweet of them to do for her.
Right.
And I feel like her getting so emotional was kind of almost, how Brit keeps saying that she doesn't have female friends and she's always had like really rough interactions with females. I kind of almost feel like that's kind of what Angela's story truly is, but Angela actually is trying.
You mean like how I was saying in the beginning?
And so, as they're leaving, I think it was Cynthia that asked Brit, "Is she okay?" And Brit says,
"Going to check on the girls. I love me some Cynthia."
Right, and she asked her, was like, "Is everything okay?" And Brit was like, "Nothing is resolved. Like, I tried to have the conversation, but they didn't want to have the conversation." And Portia says, "There's nothing that needs to be resolved." Again, more gaslighting. Like, more gaslighting. But I will say this, when they all got back in the car, Phaedra really put Brit up on some games. Like, she really big sistered her.
No, she did.
Like, letting her know, like, dog, the station that you say you're in your life, nothing less than $1,000. Like, come on. But she really did eat her up about the self-sabotaging, because we've been saying that from the beginning. She did all of that with the whole Kenya situation. There was nothing but self-sabotage. But I will say this: I don't feel like Brit was self-sabotaging at the dinner. She did that weird thing with Apollo, but other than that,
Yeah,
I don't feel like Brit did anything wrong. Like the girls were coming for her this episode.
I think she was genuinely confused and didn't know.
Right.
And I mean,
Wait,
that's a crime in it.
On what part?
I'm saying
Didn't know about what?
Lost, as far as her being lost as to why the girls were coming for her.
Oh, got it. Agreed.
Which is a crime in itself because, girl, where are your antennas? You understand?
I don't know.
But that's a different situation.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on now, you're too big for that. Too old not to have your antennas up.
No, fair. But then Shamea gets a call from Gerald, and we find out that the nurse that was taking care of her daughter was not doing what she needed to do.
Very nasty.
And she gets extremely emotional, which is very understandable. And the ladies head back and they, basically rally around her, which I thought was beautiful, and how they rallied around her. At first, I wasn't really feeling Brit's emotion. But when she turned it and it's like, you know what, and I'm going to take a drink, I was like, oh, this is actually genuine. Yeah. I feel like she really was trying to.
But remember
the love and what she wanted out of Kenya, how she really wanted to be, because where that really was, she just wanted to be Kenya's friend.
Oh, that's 100%. Oh, no, 100%.
I feel like in that moment, she was really, and to be fair, I agree with her. From Brit's perspective, I would be very confused as to why Shamea has an issue with me. You already pulled me aside. We already had a conversation at Houston's about this, and now you're bringing it up in front of all these people, and then you're saying like you're getting mad about me saying I don't want to drink and all all this stuff. Like I can understand why she would be confused. So I really feel like she was really fighting for Shamea in that moment. I'm gonna show you that I can be a friend to you. I'm gonna show up for you. I feel like that's what she was doing in that moment.
But I think that's always been Brit around these women. She's been wanting to be a part of this inner circle for quite some time. And I feel like she's constantly trying to seek approval from these women in her actions.
No, I agree. And basically that was the end of the episode. And so now it is time for us to get into the favorite parts of the show.
Everybody just calm down.
Girl, just calm down. All right, so who needs to calm down? Obviously, I'm sure y'all could tell. It's Shamea for me. Shamea, you were on 10 for no reason. Somehow, you were able to make Brit the victim, even if the core or the crux of your issue was the donation. Everybody agreed that was very low budget and very low brow for Brit. But somehow, we have to now put that in the back because you're being a bully and being aggressive and being nasty. And I'm sorry. Call me crazy, but if I'm on vacation and people start acting funny and weird, it's a different type of demon that come out in me because I feel like you're trying to kill me.
Listen,
call me crazy.
Listen, I'm not mad, and we've seen it happen too. We've seen it happen. Honestly, who needs to calm down for me? She needs to calm down for two reasons. It's actually going to be Kelly for me. So number one, I'm going to need her to invest in some serious titty tassels. You got to get something to hold the nipples down, girl. Like, I mean, come on now. You got to be able to control them. Whether you're on vacation or I mean, you're an entrepreneur. I'm listen, I'm not slut shame, I'm not body shame or anything like that. But I would like you to cover up your nipples, though, like at least sometimes. And another reason why I'm burning you, honestly, is because you were a little passive aggressive to quote unquote one of your best friends. And during this trip, and I just didn't like the energy. It was giving weird, like I wasn't really your friend to begin with, and I've been waiting to jump I've been ready to jump ship.
Fair point.
Sorry about it.
Fair point. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to Everybody Just Calm Down the podcast. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Bye, guys.